mind needs a minute, so we'll applaud her when she arrives. So while we're waiting, once again, I'm Kristen Van Denhoven. I'm the Artistic Director of Wham Theater, and we have some guests, some board members, and some of our designers who've joined us, so just welcoming you into the room. This is always a really special day. Who is here for the first time to a Wham check presentation? Wow, that's amazing. So it's always my favorite day of the year because theater is normally the recipient of philanthropy, and on today we get to be the giver we get to be the philanthropist, which is quite the oxymoron for theater. So it's always a really special day, and we're so glad that those of you that have chosen to stay are here for it, and I hope you really enjoy it and you make it a part of your routine to come to the Wham closing shows. So we have with us today, we have Bruce Buckley, who's the CEO of Soldier On, and then we have Luann Hazelwood, who is a past resident of the women's program. We have Sarah Skoko, did I say that right? Who is the executive director of the women's program, and Stephanie Ovitt, who is director of wellness at Soldier On. So thank you so much for being here. Of the program, if you just want to raise your hands. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I've got a few questions for you to help our audience understand a little bit more about your program and how our donation will aid and impact for you. And then we'll have a couple of audience questions before we celebrate all of our success with revealing the big check. And our Henry VIII and Cape Par will be our check revealers. So Bruce, can you give us an overview of Soldier On for some people who might not know just how long it's been around and what are its main priorities?
Before that, I'd like to just thank you for including us today, and then also thinking of us as...
Pause.
Especially from the Wham Theater. So in a great performance, and we all really enjoyed it, so thank you for that. Soldier On provides service, support, and solutions to homeless veterans and veterans at risk of homelessness. And we do this in a variety of ways, which I'll try to summarize because we touch a lot of lives in a lot of different ways. We have transitional beds, so somewhat you'd consider shelter beds. We have 225 shelter beds for both men and women in Western Mass, in Pittsfield and in Leeds at the VA campus near Northampton. We build permanent housing. We just opened our 4th permanent housing project in Agawam. We've got about 200 beds of permanent housing that we quickly fill with formerly homeless vets. Most of those have gone through our program. Sometimes they're from the community, but typically they come through our program, and the real solution is permanent housing. That's what works, and we see the effect of the permanence from the Pittsfield project, opened in 2011, and of 39 formerly homeless vets, 20 still live there. 9 have passed away while they lived there. And 5 or 6 of the others are employed by Soldier On and just live in other environments. We also provide outreach services in 5 states: Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and the entire state of Mississippi. We have about 100 staff members that are out every day that live in these communities, and veterans at risk of homelessness, we can help support them. We have funding from the federal government that helps us pay rents, utilities, and connect them to services that they need to remain stable. In addition to that, we run right now 3 programs in jails in Albany, New York, in Somers, Connecticut, and in Pearl, Mississippi. We have a veterans pod where we have a total of about 150 veterans in these pods that we provide service 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and often connect with them when they get out of jail with our other services to start them out on the right foot. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of what we do at Soldier On and where we do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. And we can give David a round of applause. population. So can you tell us how your women's program specifically addresses this urgent issue?
Absolutely. So women only make up right now 8% of the homeless population, but they are more than 4 times more likely to become homeless due to a number of factors. That is the inability to access services, that is isolation, and number 1 is trauma. So 80% of our women have experienced military sexual trauma, and nearly 100% of our women were traumatized before they went into the military. So by the time they get to us, they're often very broken, lost all sense of hope, lost all sense of dignity, have lost their families, jobs, everything. And so when they come to us, what we look to do is build them back up in every single way we know possible. So we have groups running every single day with art programs, yoga workshops, goal-setting groups, everything that you can think of. We're helping women build resumes. We're helping them get jobs in the community. We're reconnecting them with families. We're running a wellness program where we're looking at not just addiction or mental health. We're looking at a person's whole self and what they need, treating their spirituality needs, treating their emotional needs, treating their social needs, and really getting them ready to go out back into the community living happy, healthy lives. It's just a little bit of what we do. We do so much, and I want Steph to be able to talk about the wellness side of things too. But
yeah,
Luann's just a perfect example of what we do. She came in and had suffered abuse and just went through some amazing changes, got into art, started submitting her artwork into art shows. And
so you shared a wonderful story at our summer gala, and you know, you are exactly the kind of person that our donation will go to help in terms of someone who's transitioned from the women's residence in Leeds to living on their own and having some care and support as they do that. Can you speak a little bit to how that would be of help in, you know, a woman's journey to continue to live on their own?
I have to say I'm really humbled to be here, and I'm really grateful for these women and for our resident artists, because I hadn't done any artwork since 14 years of age. And I started with Nathan's tutelage. He's the resident artist for Soldier On. I started under his tutelage, and now I've had work in 3 galleries, and I'm so humbled.
You also did some theater, right? You were part of
I've
the...
been in the Williamstown Theater Group twice. I was in a play in August, and I was also in a play last year. And Lucy Thurber, who is the playwright, actually flew to Los Angeles for 3 months. She didn't get to see this year's play, but she told me before she left she would actually come and visit me at where I am right now. And she, you know, she's been more of a friend than anything. And these women have been really like my family, because I'm not connected with any of my family right now, and I'm really grateful for them. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had. When I first got to the program, I hardly spoke at all. And it's just a miracle for me to be able to be here and just tell you how grateful I am for the contributions, for the people that have poured out their spirit to us. I never knew how thankful people were of our service time. And I didn't learn how grateful they were until I came to the program. Before then, I didn't think it was worth anything. I had tried to commit suicide. I had been through over 30 years of abuse. I had been raped. And, you know, I feel like a whole different person. My life has turned 180 degrees. And I'm grateful for these women because they made it possible. And I thank you for the director as well, because, you know, I just feel like a whole new person. Yes, I still struggle at times, but, you know, it's not half as bad as it used to be. And I'm really thankful for this program and for the people that are generously supporting it, because it's really helped a lot of women. A lot of women have come, they've been shipwrecked, they've been they've been abused, they struggled with drugs and alcohol, low self-esteem, and it works, the whole program works on every part of that, of a woman's psyche when they get there. And, you know, all I can say is thank you. And they continue to be a support now that I've left the program. I'm in an assisted living program, and yet they still reach out to me. And I'm really grateful for that, because I thought when I left that would be the end, but it hasn't been. They've been there, they continue to be there, and I'm really grateful for that.
Well, we're grateful. Stephanie, when Gwen and I visited the program, you talked about your wish for exactly this kind of assistance, that when they leave, they could still have some support. Can you talk about how you'll be able to implement that now and how much that means to the success of all the residents?
Absolutely. So part of the wellness program is to identify tools and resources and provide women with options when they leave our program, and to also provide a continuum of care. And right now we're limited because there's only so many of us. So we recognize that there's a big change from when you're in a structured environment like the one we provide, where there are groups and therapy and all these wonderful resources, to living independent. So what we decided was a need is to be able to continue some type of service out to those who transition out to the community successfully. And Sarah and I do what we can right now with our team of support. We have peer supports and SSVF workers under the direction of Sarah Polidor, who help us quite a bit. And of course Nathan and Julia, and we have some clinicians that work internal to Soldier On that do just that. And we'd like to be able to do that on a regular basis, where we can, visit people in their new homes and provide either therapy or peer support, case management, make sure that they're doing wellness, cleaning, self-care, and staying active. One of the struggles we notice is when people do leave our environment and they live independently, they don't know how to socialize in a healthy way. They fall back into old patterns of behavior. So part of our program under wellness is to coach people how to socialize in a healthy way, get them a part of the local community, and our program allows the beginnings of that because we have a lot of local support, and we get them involved with swimming programs, and some of our women are now part of the senior center, and just the local community. So part of what our goal is to continue to make sure that they're engaged in a healthy way, to allow supportive services to them, have them come back to our program and take part in some of the alumni programs and program offerings that we do have, and to kind of grow those services to support them however long, however they need us to be there.
There's one more comment I wanted to make. Before I got involved in Soldier On, I had weighed 273 pounds, and I wore a 4X jacket. And because of Stephanie and her tutelage, I'm down to about 228. And she's taught me how to, hydrate. I barely drink water, and now I drink like 3 or 4 liters a day.
We can all learn from you. I want to take this program.
So I'm really grateful for that.
Excellent. I'd love to turn it over if there are any members of the audience that have any questions or comments for Soldier On before we move into the check presentation portion.
Nothing?
You may have covered this at the beginning, so I apologize if you did, but how do you find the candidates, or how do they find you?
So our candidates come from all over the country. We have SSVF services, so support services for veterans and families are all over the country, in 5 states, looking for these women that are at risk. We also have connections through the VA. If women go through certain programs, they can come right from those programs to us. Also, we've had women just hear about our program because we've had some exposure lately and show up and say, I'm homeless, I've been living in my car, I've been in this horrible domestic violence situation, I need somewhere to go. We were on NPR and we had someone from Colorado call us and say, I need help. And so wherever the need is, we try to, meet that need immediately. When we have someone show up, we're putting them in a bed that night if we can.
Do you ever have to turn anyone away, or do you manage to make it work so far?
We have a waiting list, but we have thrown more than one bed in one room, and we'll cozy up next to each other. Yes, we have a few here, and the more the merrier.
I do want to say one thing regarding to that gentleman's question. I am an OIF veteran, and I was struggling with PTSD and depression, and I actually had an attempted suicide. Obviously I failed, but I got brought to the hospital, and the hospital brought me to the VA center, and the VA brought me to them. I didn't even know that this program existed, and he saved my life.
200 and something beds, and like 16 of them are, if I'm right, and it feels like the need, and you're building something else in Pittsfield, so are you expanding the beds for women? Because we think that's a really good idea.
The number of beds really is in response to the need. So the need wasn't as obvious, and women did not present as frequently as men for a lot of reasons. One is there aren't as many women veterans as men veterans. Another is women with children don't want to present as homeless because they risk losing their children. So there was a lot of impediments to getting the women to say I'm homeless. And I think in general, women are less likely to be left on the streets than men, by family, by other people. So the number of women isn't a reflection of what we're offering, it's kind of what the need's been. So we built a beautiful building in 2015 that we have 16 beds that are brand new, extremely nice building, and we've now just started, we anticipate in Pittsfield where we have some land, we're gonna break ground hopefully next summer and put in 14 or 16 beds of permanent housing for women.
The woman has a child and she's homeless, does the child then go to your facility as well?
We are able to have children at our facility, yes. Yes, we haven't had one yet, I think because by the time women come to us, they oftentimes have lost their children. And we work very closely with women to reunite them with their children. And most of the time, women want to be in the community with their children. So we kind of help them reunite and get back into the community, but we do have the ability to do that.
Do we have another, yes?
Hi, my name is Vivian.
Hi,
I've been
Vivian.
a Vietnam era veteran for 49 years. I'm the oldest of the group. I suffered severely with PTSD. I've been in 44 states, 44 hospitals. And I just want to say that this is the only program that I've come to that I've gotten help, and I thank you.
Oh, my God.
I just want to say, speaking on the jails, and the outreach that Soldier On has provided, I came from incarceration, and Soldier On was the last house in the street, and I called Sarah in complete desperation. And I had been in the program before, and I knew where I needed to go to get well, and I called her, and she jumped through hoops for me, and I guess I was the first double in the house, just so that they could get me from incarceration into the program and to start working on my trauma and my PTSD and just a lot of things. But I need to say too that Soldier On is an unbelievable program, and it has completely saved my life. It has reunited me with my children once, and I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt it'll do it again.
Wow, we were hoping for some inspiration. I think we got it, eh, Marty? Alex, and then that gentleman up there, and then we'll move into the next segment. Alex.
If anyone's in the audience, including myself, I'll be speaking for more than just me here, is interested in volunteering or getting involved, how would one go about that?
So sure, you could connect with Stephanie or myself, or with Casey DeSico, I'm not sure where she went, who is the Director of Communication, who can help with that. So absolutely, we love volunteers, and we have a ton of volunteers who come in and do incredible work.
And if you Google Soldier On Women's Program, it brings you right to their page and their email address, which is how Gwen and I managed to reach out to them in the first place. So great question. Yes, sir, you want the final question or comment?
Ladies, welcome home.
Wow. So I'd like to designers and actors and stage managers and technicians and production managers, technical directors. So I'd like to start by inviting you up to the stage. If you can flank the check, and if Nehesayu and John can kind of be on either side of that. And I just want to be able to, our director is here, so I just want to be able to introduce all of the philanthropists who make it possible through their heart.
Yeah, we do a lot of different
So I haven't done this in the past, but I really wanted to do it today, is actually share with you who all these people are. Normally we bring them up and we just kind of get into the check, but one of the things I find most satisfying about being the artistic director of WHAM is that the artists who get to work with us get to be philanthropists by doing their craft, and I don't think that anybody ever gets that opportunity. So I think it's a really special thing that WHAM does. So Kristen Ferrero was the understudy for the characters of Mary and Kate. Let's hold our applause till the end. Lily Link, obviously, who played Mary. Alicia P.M. Nelson, who played Bess. Leah Russell Self, our assistant director. John Haddon, our Henry VIII. Eric Williams, our fabulous, and correct me if I get your name wrong because my head is, not clear right now. Eric, our house manager. David Joseph, who played Tom. Nehesayu DeGans, our fabulous Catherine. Alex Savronsky, our sound designer and composer of a score that's been nominated for the Berkshire Critics Awards tomorrow night. Raul Silver, our future king. Max Shigeldo Shapiro, our production manager and technical director. Where's Sam? Sam, our consulting TD, who didn't come up on stage but should have. Hope Rose Kelly, our stage manager. I know I'm going to come back to her. Stella Schwartz, our costume designer. Shannon McManus, who is backstage as our assistant stage manager, and she said that she does 6,000 steps for every show with all the backstage running around. Ryan Winkles, our fight choreographer. Barbie Cardillo, our education artist and a WHAM associate artist. Juliana Von Halbrick, our scenic designer, and our incredible director, Kelly Galvin. So once we make the presentation, we'll take some group photographs and we'll invite, I know we have some sponsors and board members and donors in the audience. So we'll invite you up once we make that for our official shots. Lou, where are you? I think Lou is in the audience somewhere. There you are. All right, going to join us in a sec here. So as an 8-year-old theater company, it's really pretty incredible that we've managed to not only provide 200 jobs to theater professionals, most of whom are local and 75% of whom are women, but that we've also managed to make such an impact with our philanthropy. My passion for WHAM is best encapsulated by how I feel on days like today, the closing day of the production. I stand on stage after the curtain call and I look around, but I'm not going to do it now because I'll cry. At the professional theater artists who've gotten a paid contract job. I look at the audience who's just enjoyed watching a story, hopefully enjoyed watching a story written by a woman playwright, which makes me so proud because less than 20% of all plays produced around the country are written by women. And finally, I look at our beneficiaries, the organizations that are about to be given a donation that represents 25% of the box office proceeds. And I'm really struck at the impact that our productions have beyond jobs and storytelling. I think of the 13 house mothers at the Mother of Peace Orphanage in South Africa, who received their first ever stipend for caring for 84 orphans. Or the Pittsfield 8th grader, who along with the rest of her peers at a Berkshire County Rite of Passage program, many of whom are among the first in their family to even dream about going to college, went on a college tour. I imagine her standing on a college campus thinking, maybe I could go here someday. And she's standing there because Wham put on a play. And today I look at these incredibly brave residents of the Soldier on Women's program, and I'm amazed that our production of The Last Wife will help them on their path to an independent life. The impact of theater as philanthropy never ceases to amaze me. I often say that Wham's early success is because we live in a county and a state that truly values arts and activism. Wham is so proud to be a place in Berkshire County where arts and activism meet. We are proud of our mission to create opportunity for women and girls through our vision of artist philanthropy, and we think everyone should do what we do. Warren Buffett has his billionaires pledge. I have my arts as philanthropy pledge. Wham's long-term vision is for our unique vision to influence the larger landscape of social entrepreneurship. Can you imagine if every arts leader embraced our model and donated a portion of their box office proceeds to a cause their leader cared about? Imagine the social change that could create. If Wham can do it and be sustainable so far, then any arts organization can do it. So with that said, the moment we've all been waiting for, if you guys want to get up and kind of be able to find a place to see the check. Wait. You'll get your cue, and then you'll go that way in a sec. In Wham's first year, we donated $1,000 to Women for Women International. Over the years, we've donated funds to 12 other organizations, and our donations total $32,500 so far. One of our big, hairy, audacious goals is to have donated $100,000 by the time we reach our 15th year in 2024. So today, in 2017, at the end of our 8th year, we get closer to that goal. Earlier this year, for our production of Emily, we donated $2,500 to the Flying Cloud Women in Science program and gave scholarships to young girls to work alongside professional scientists at a summer workshop. And today, thanks to all of your incredibly successful work on this show, we present the Soldier on Women's program, our 13th beneficiary, with a check for $9,000.